What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Fresh Review, the channel dedicated to giving honest reviews about movies, TV shows, wrestling, premiere and live events, and much more. Today I'll be showcasing the rubric I will use to consistently grade TV shows and movies. Without further ado, let's begin. When reviewing a TV show or movie, I look at 10 elements. The first elements I look at are story based. The story consists of the plot and the themes. For plot, I'm primarily looking at the major and minor conflicts and the conflict resolution. The conflict are the problems that the characters face. The problems could be man versus man versus nature, man versus society, man versus God, or man versus self. How these problems are resolved is the conflict resolution. Conflicts are usually resolved through fighting or speaking. The conflicts and conflict resolution are the main plot points of the story. How effectively and creatively the problems are created and resolved is what will be graded. The second part of the story-based grading is the themes. Essentially, the themes are the morals of the story. It is important to not mistake the themes with a topic. For instance, a theme is not forgiveness. Forgiveness would be the topic. The theme would be a branch underneath the topic forgiveness. For example, can something be done that is unforgivable? The story should have many conflicts that encompass the answer to that question. The answers would be the underlying theme. An inspirational theme can change the outlook on your life. The next category I'm looking at are the main characters and side characters. The main characters are the protagonist and the antagonist. The protagonist is the main character. Usually, the protagonist is a hero, but not always. A great hero has traits and characteristics that makes them likable. On the contrary is the antagonist. The antagonist is the main opposing force of the protagonist. Usually, the antagonist is the villain of the story, but not always. A great hero needs a great villain. A great villain should challenge the hero's physical prowess, their mental fortitude, their spiritual resolve, or their moral compass. In addition to the protagonist and antagonist are the side characters. Through mentorship or partnership, the side characters complement the protagonist or the antagonist. However, the side characters should still be unique and distinct from the main characters. Side characters need their own personality, purpose, and motivation. When given this, side characters are given the opportunity to shine and develop in coordination with the main characters. Our next category consists of writing and acting. A well-written story will masterfully answer the audience's questions or strategically leave the questions open-ended. A poorly written story will not answer the audience's questions and result the plot holes start to form. In addition, the writing can have numerous quotable lines. If you have seen Avengers Infinity War or The Dark Knight Rises, nearly all of Thanos' or Bane's lines were quotable and memorable. Pairing with the written text is the acting. The actors use their voice and their bodies to bring the characters to life. A great acting performance makes the characters feel realistic and relatable. However, a great acting performance cannot save a bad script. On the flip side, a bad acting performance could ruin a great script. The best scenario is when both the writing and the acting are top notch, and of course the worst scenario is when they both are subpar. Next we have the enhancing elements. These consist of the visuals and the soundtrack. Spectacular visuals can immerse you into the world. Egregious visuals can remove you from it. The soundtrack is the music played throughout the movies. In the words of Kanye West, every superhero needs his theme music. The soundtrack and visuals can make a good movie great, a great movie amazing, and an amazing movie legendary. Of course, a bad soundtrack and bad visuals will have the adverse effect. Lastly, we have the longevity elements. These consist of the emotional investment, plus the memorability and the rewatchability. The emotional investment, the emotions that the story conveys. Does it make you cry so hard you can't see? Does it make you laugh so hard you can't breathe? Does it scare you so much you sleep with the nightlight on? Does it make you get so hyped that you're jumping out of your seat? Does it make you think so much you change your mindset on life? A great movie or TV show will have you invested emotionally by making you laugh, cry, think, be scared, or be hyped. Finally, we have the memorability and the rewatchability. The memorability is how long the TV show or movie will be remembered. Will this movie or TV show be discussed for generations to come, or will it be forgotten after you wake up the next day? The rewatchability is how the quality of the show is maintained when you rewatch it. Upon rewatching the best movies and shows, the viewer will notice Easter eggs and foreshadowing that they did not originally see. Some movies and shows improve upon a rewatch, others drastically decrease and probably should not be rewatched. Some movies or TV show episodes are so good you want to immediately rewatch them. Other movies and TV shows are so bad that you don't ever want to watch them again. And that concludes the 10 elements I'm looking for in a TV show or movie. To recap, we are looking at the plot, the themes, the main characters, the side characters, the writing, the acting, the visuals, the soundtrack, the emotional investment, and the memorability. Tomorrow is Sunday. That means it's Demon Slayer Sunday. That will be our first fresh review of an anime. If you are interested in that, subscribe for more content. That is also a great trivia question. If I hit 100 subs, I want to do a giveaway. So subscribe for more content. Subscribe to get to that giveaway. What was my first anime review? Demon Slayer would be the answer. What was my first wrestling premium live event review? WrestleMania would be the answer. WrestleMania 40 to be exact. What was my first fresh review in general? That will also be WrestleMania 40. So I'm giving you guys a little cheat sheet. You feel me? A little guide right there. But subscribe for more content. So let's go ahead and recap everything completely now, since we still have a lot of time left on this video. The plot is the conflicts and the conflict resolution, right? I'm looking at the problems. These create the plot points. So and so fights this guy, or these two have a disagreement here. This leads to them fighting, right? So fighting would be how they resolve the conflict. Of course, somebody will have to win the fight, lose the fight. Maybe not necessarily. Sometimes you have it where they end up drawing and they end up talking it out, whatever the case may be. But that's the plot. Those end up creating the plot points. There's the theme of the story. Every great story got to teach you something, right? When you think about it, it got to have something that's like deep, impactful. It got to have something there, an underlying message. Sometimes an overarching message. Sometimes it's more blunt and easier to see. Sometimes it's underlying. But either way, you should be able to find a moral of the story in any story, at least any good story. After that, we have the main characters and the side characters. The main characters, personally never been too big of a fan of main characters, except for a good villain. I do like me a good villain. But the goody two-shoe hero, never cared too much about. But there are some heroes and main protagonists I do care about. But I do love side characters a lot, because side characters are usually different from the main characters drastically. And they give the main characters, they shed a new light on the main character normally. So this could be teaching them something new, maturing them, mentoring them, coaching them, whatever the case may be. The side characters normally do a great job at adding depth to the main character's arc and stuff like that. Gives them some added dimensions, extra layers to them. So I think great side characters really do flesh out the main character. And same thing with the villains. Some villains have some great side characters as well, especially when it's a large group or anything like that, where the villain side characters really make the villain more menacing, or more feared, or more respected, more strategic, whatever the case may be. So those are the main and the side characters. After that, of course, we've got the writing and the acting, and there are some bad lines you can see in some movies where it's like, I don't know if any actor could have said that line in a clever way. My two favorite actors are Leonardo DiCaprio and Denzel Washington. I feel like for all the movies I've seen, they have solid scripts, or maybe they don't and they just make the script work from movies I've seen of them. And I mean, a bad script, I'm like, I'm not sure Denzel could have said that, or Leonardo DiCaprio could have said that in a good way. We're like, all right, he's going to win an Oscar. Well, Leo doesn't win Oscars anyways, really, except for when they feel bad for him. They gave him that MB Pity Award. Like, all right, man, you've been trying for so many years, man, let's just hand it to you now. But that's a different story for a different day. That's the writing, and the acting, I kind of tying that into it as well. The voice acting in anime is very important, since they don't use their body to act like how actors on the movie screen and stuff do. So the voice acting for anime is very important. Great voice acting is, man, it can make you cry, man. It really can. And you see that the actor or actress is giving it their all to that character. It makes them really do feel relatable and realistic, man. Brings you into that world. And speaking of being brought into the world, let's talk about the visuals and the soundtrack. I'm not sure you guys have ever seen a movie or a TV show with some bad visuals that kind of give you a headache or it kind of takes you out of it. One of the movies that come to mind is The Flash. But The Flash that came out last year was so interesting because it seemed like they strategically had it be bad. Like the visuals were consistently bad throughout. They're like referees. Like I hate inconsistent referees. Like you make a good call then a bad call, and like you missed that call, but you saw that call. Like I be consistently good, but you ain't gonna be that. At least be consistently bad, and that's what the Flash went for. I'm not sure that's the correct strategy for a movie, but that's what the Flash movie went for. The visuals were consistently bad, but I thought it was an okay movie. I won't give a first review for that movie unless you guys want me to give one, but that's the visuals. The soundtrack can be fire. I downloaded so many songs after seeing an epic scene or epic movie, TV show, because the soundtrack, man, was just hitting like that. You play the soundtrack and you immediately think about that scene once again. Makes you remember it. Sometimes make you even want to go back and rewatch the whole movie, man. The soundtrack is that important, that powerful. And that's why they're called the enhancing elements, because they can enhance that, without a doubt. Of course, like I said, they can have the opposite effect, but man, the opposite effect is, ooh, you watch it and you just going to sleep. I will also say, some movies I feel like are carried by their visuals. You can say the same thing about some TV shows, but that's why it's only worth 10%. Because we don't want to grade the visuals or anything like that too high, and then a show's getting carried by one aspect. That's why we got 10 different things all evenly distributed. And I feel like great shows will stand the test of time and all grade highly using this rubric. And then last but not least, as I said, we got the rewatchability and we got the emotional investment. Man, if a show makes you cry, makes you get hyped, I mean, it has to grade high. Like, maybe it doesn't have to be legendary, but at least have to give the amazing score, right? If it's making you cry, if it's making you jump out of your seat, anything like that, man, it has to be a high score. Amazing would be a 9 out of 10 or higher. You got to give it to something that can make you feel that emotional. And then rewatchability, memorability. Again, how long are we going to talk about this? This is a little bit tougher to do for movies that are new. Like, you don't know how long. Is this like recency bias, or are you going to be like, oh, this movie's the best I've ever seen? No, you see a lot of that recency bias. But, like, you could kind of tell by a classic, like, yo, we're going to be talking about this movie for generations to come, or at least years to come, whatever the case may be there. And, I mean, as I said, that's just another recap going in depth from start to finish. But on a different note, I would like to say thank you. My last video is currently approaching 100 views. I am grateful for every like, every view, and every subscriber. I'm also grateful for every comment and piece of advice you can give me to improve. I want my videos to be the best I can make them. So let me know when and how, where and how I can improve them. Also, let me know if you liked anything and think I should keep it. Have my thumbnails improved? Have my titles improved? Please let me know in the comment section. Not only does commenting help the algorithm, but also helps me, the creator. And that will conclude this video. So as always, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope to see you guys on the next one. Our first Demon Slayer fresh review. Season 1, Part 1. Season 1 will be broken into 2 videos. Hope to see you guys there. Peace.